Welcome to the Smite God reveal for Izanami, Matron of the Dead. As Izanami gave birth to the god of fire, his searing skin scorched her flesh. So grievous were the wounds, Izanami succumbed to death. To rescue her soul, her husband, Izanagi, traveled to Yomi, the realm of darkness and death. He implored her to return with him, but she could not, for she had already eaten the fruit that grew in this realm. Izanami agreed to take him to see the gods of Yomi to ask for her freedom. On their journey, she cautioned him, for the realm of the dead was not meant for the living to see. Taken by foreboding, Izanagi lit a torch and laid eyes upon his wife. No longer the graceful, elegant beauty, Izanami now appeared a rotting corpse. Frightened, Izanagi fled. Through the bowels of Yomi he ran, pursued by the fiend that was once his wife. Escaping the cave entrance, Izanagi rolled a boulder in place to block it. Sealed within, consumed with wrathful anger, Izanami swore 1,000 lives would she take each day. But war has broken the boulder that once kept her sealed away. And Izanami has emerged, cold and lifeless, but burning with a vengeance against all that lives. Before we go into her abilities, we wanted to take some time to discuss something unique about Izanami, her basic attacks. Izanami is a hunter with some unusual basic attacks. Izanami uses her Kama sickles to deal damage to her enemies. These Kama sickles will pass through all targets until a maximum range is hit, and then return to Izanami, dealing damage to anyone caught in her path. Izanami's passive is Death Draws Nigh. The closer Izanami gets to death, the more powerful she becomes. Izanami gains % physical penetration as she loses health. Izanami's first ability is Sickle Storm. Once activated, Izanami throws her Kama sickles faster and more furiously for a short duration. While active, she gains attack speed, and her basic attacks no longer return to her. Instead, they apply bonus damage in addition to 100% of her basic attack power per hit. Izanami's second ability is Spectral Projection. Izanami sends forth a demonic visage of herself to strike down her enemies, damaging and slowing all enemies in a line. If an enemy god is killed while slowed by this ability, all future uses of Spectral Projection slow will be increased for the remainder of the match. This slow effect can only be increased twice. Izanami's third ability is Fade Away. Izanami descends into the underworld, becoming stealthed and leaping away from her current position. Taking damage, firing a damaging ability, or doing basic attacks will break her stealth immediately. Izanami's ultimate is Dark Portal. Izanami summons a dark portal which deals massive damage and silences all enemies in range. Izanami is always looking for situations that maximize the use of her Sickle Storm. Leading with Spectral Projection will place a slow on her enemies, allowing her to have an easier time landing her empowered basic attacks from Sickle Storm. Izanami's ultimate is not only a strong source of damage, but also silences enemies, making it more difficult for them to fight back or even run. Weaving Dark Portal into the previous combo can be a serious power play, but be careful, as missing this combo can leave a very strong opening for your enemy to punish. Fade Away is a powerful tool for sneaking up on your enemies and catching them off guard. If you see a good opportunity, using all of your abilities on an unsuspecting victim can get you a quick kill. But be careful. If the enemy survives, you will no longer have any tools to fight with. Using Fade Away properly will separate the normal Izanami players from the great ones. This ability can be great at closing the distance or sneaking up on enemies, but also knowing when to save it to escape from a battle versus when to use it aggressively is important. Finally, Fade Away breaks if you take damage, so try to avoid running in predictable directions or you risk losing your advantage. Izanami is a hunter who excels at boxing enemy hunters and surprising enemies through her strong damage and tricky playstyle. Dark Portal can suddenly turn a fight in her favor, and good usage of Fade Away can make fighting her truly terrifying. Pair Izanami with supports who can help her stay alive during times she wants to be aggressive, like Geb, Sylvanus, or Kepri. When leveling up Izanami, you will want to begin with Spectral Projection. Combined with her unique basic attacks, Spectral Projection helps establish her superior clearing power in lane. Next, place a point into Sickle Storm and start looking for small boxing matches with the enemy hunter if you have minion advantage. Fade Away is going to be your next choice, giving Izanami some additional safety in lane. Next, put a point back in Spectral Projection. Once reaching level 5, you will want to prioritize maxing Dark Portal, followed by Spectral Projection, Sickle Storm, and finally, Fade Away. Izanami excels with critical strike builds since she needs to get out as much damage as possible during her activation of Sickle Storm. Start with Death's Toll, Spiked Gauntlets, and a few potions. Rush Devourer's Gauntlets as quickly as you can to begin stacking the power and lifesteal from the item before buying Warrior Tabby to gain more power. Malice will serve as your starting point for your critical strike build, serving as a good first item to start dealing threatening damage with your basics. After Malice, Deathbringer continues to ramp up not only your critical strike chance, but the damage each crit deals. Titan's Bane now becomes your strongest choice, helping your critical strikes deal damage through your enemy's protections. Finally, sell Death's Toll and replace it with either Wind Demon or Poisoned Star, depending on if you want more damage and mobility or would rather weaken your enemies and reduce their damage output. Thanks for watching the Smite God reveal for Izanami, Matron of the Dead.